This hoax trial is about to fall apart. Truth and justice will prevail in America.
Wonderful to see you again. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight. First, do you have any more details on the alleged misconduct by the juror in this case?
I do, as part of, obviously I'm part of the team, but those are not ones that I am willing to share at this point. What I can tell you is it's definitely egregious, despite the redactions and without getting into detail. It is not a questionable thing. There was misconduct by the jurors, and it would have anything thrown out. Now, one thing we are learning, as you've delicately said, but I will say more directly, Judge Merchan's description of what happened and what falls under the Supreme Court's decision is so flawed and egregious and so ridiculous. He is completely disregarding the Supreme Court of the United States, the highest court that said that there is presidential immunity for official acts. And now he is trying to carve out in any way he can to preserve face and say that this trial was not a complete hoax, was not a complete disaster, an evidentiary disaster. And now we know there were issues with the jury being tainted. So, this is where we are. And this is where we've been for 3.5 years. And frankly, why I think we won.
Alina, so we've got allegations of a juror's misconduct in the case. Can you please tell us how this case is ripe for appeal? Legal experts have told us there are a lot of constitutional violations. The jury wrongly heard evidence that was protected by presidential immunity, the Supreme Court upheld, like President Trump's conversations with Hope Hicks. The judge delayed sentencing indefinitely. That's clearly a due process right to a speedy trial violation. And now juror misconduct, it sounds like that juror was tainted. There could have been bias here.
Yeah, let's add some to that. Statute of limitations, which before they brought this, we knew was passed. This case was passed up by Cy Vance. It was passed up prior by Bragg, and then it was brought again. How about we also discuss that the White House was coordinating and sent their own guy into work for the New York DA from the DOJ? How about that? How about selective prosecution, election interference, tying this man up in a hoax case during an election cycle when he should have been campaigning? How about all of the things you said? But this is where we have problems. The judge should have recused. We've said it time and time again. We have one thing standing right now before all the appeals we will take on this ridiculous decision today, and that is the motion to dismiss that this judge gave us leave to file. I don't have much hope in Judge Merchan, but we do have pending motions. Go ahead.
Sorry, Alina. So, Senator Chuck Grassley, has said this is really scary that all Americans, right or left, he's saying take the politics out of it. When you see the lawfare abuses, it could happen to you. It could happen to viewers. Yeah. That's why millennial voters, we heard, were so scared about what the Justice Department and what cases like DA Bragg brought. They feel it could happen to them personally. This was a books and records misdemeanor, like a parking ticket, but it got ramped up into 34 felonies. That's terrifying for the American judicial system. Final word.
Yes, and he was not there. He was in the White House as president. These are acts that were done by an accounting team at the Trump organization. And there is so many uncanny things happening here. And the American people are afraid, and they should be afraid, but not anymore. Because I can assure you that when we go in and when this administration gets to work, it will be top of mind to fix this lawfare and prosecution against a political opponent or any American. It should not happen.
Okay, Alina Habba, thank you.
So Merchan is backed into a corner because if he lets this case go, he's admitting that he profited off of the case. His daughter is a digital marketer for the top Democrats in the United States. But think about that. Who would that not terrify? A misdemeanor turning into 34 felonies. Imagine being a conservative business owner in the state of New York, and you have the Attorney General saying, oh, this is just a one-time thing. We won't come after other Republicans. We won't come after other conservatives. Imagine how terrifying that would be. That's why I could never live in a Democrat George Soros district attorney area. Out of the question. This was the president of the United States, former president-elect of the United States. They turned a parking ticket into 34 felonies. I mean, the one crime, if it existed, which it did not, would have been a single misdemeanor. And that's what they did to the man that was running for president of the United States. I mean, the best outcome for Mershon is just to dismiss the thing with prejudice so it can never come back again. They're trying to hold out. It's only going to hurt them worse judicially. I mean, it's going to hurt his standing as a judge, and it could come back criminally against him and Bragg. They need to let this thing go. Let Donald Trump move on with his presidency, because clearly Alina Habba is not backing down. And she's now been named America's attorney, which is it's different than the AG. It's kind of a position on the world stage as the attorney and how American lawfare will be represented. And not lawfare, but justice and law, rather, eliminating political lawfare. So this has to stop. And Trump's going to have an amazing presidency. Hit the follow button and comment below. Let me know what you think about this, or the subscribe button. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.